The announcement board at the Galactic Academy of Sciences lit up with a special notice. 4 names appeared in bright blue letters: Zixlorp, Vila, Klaatu, and Neelix. These 4 students had been selected for the first ever exchange program with the newly joined member of the Galactic Federation, Earth. Zixlorp's 6 eyes blinked rapidly when he saw his name. The young Centaurian had applied without much hope. Earth was mysterious, having only recently developed faster-than-light travel and joining the greater galactic community. Few non-humans had ever visited the planet. "I cannot believe we were chosen," said Vila, her translucent Andromedan skin glowing with excitement as she approached Zixlorp. Her voice was musical, like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "It is a great honor," agreed Klaatu. The Orion student was tall and thin with green skin that seemed to shimmer under the academy lights. "Though I heard Earth is classified as a Class 10 Hellworld. I wonder what that means." The 4th selected student, Neelix from Betelgeuse, joined them. His round body bounced slightly as he walked. "My family is worried. They say humans are strange. But I told them this is why I study xenobiology, to understand different life forms." The 4 students made their way to Dean Quara's office for their briefing. The dean was old even by the standards of her long-lived species. Her skin was deep purple, and tiny stars seemed to float in her eyes. "Congratulations on your selection," said Dean Quara. "You are about to embark on a unique learning experience. Earth is indeed classified as a Class 10 Hellworld in our databases, but I will not tell you why." "You will not tell us?" asked Vila, her glow dimming slightly with concern. The dean's mouth curved into what the students recognized as a smile. "Discovering why Earth has this classification is part of your assignment. It will be more valuable if you experience it yourselves." Zixlorp raised one of his many limbs. "But is it dangerous? Should we be concerned?" Dean Quara's expression became serious. "Earth is safe enough for a supervised visit. You will each have environmental suits calibrated to protect you from Earth's conditions. And remember, humans live there their entire lives. Surely you can manage one academic cycle." The dean activated a holographic display showing Earth. The students gasped at the blue and green planet spinning slowly before them. "It looks beautiful," said Neelix. "Many dangerous things in the universe are beautiful," replied the dean. "Now let us review your specialties and research goals." The 4 students spent the next hour discussing their academic focuses. Zixlorp specialized in xenobiology like Neelix, but with a focus on evolutionary adaptation. Vila studied sociology, particularly how environment shaped culture. Klaatu was an engineering student interested in how different species design technology to suit their needs, and Neelix focused on environmental sciences. "Earth will provide unique insights for each of your fields," said Dean Quara. "You leave in 3 days. Use this time to prepare." Later, in the Academy Library, the students gathered to research Earth. The information available was limited, mostly just basic facts. Earth had 1 large moon, was the 3rd planet from its sun, had large bodies of water called oceans, varying climates, and diverse ecosystems. "The gravity is listed at 9.8 meters per second squared," noted Klaatu. "That's nearly 1.5 times what we're used to here." "And the oxygen levels are quite high," added Neelix, looking worried. "No wonder we need environmental suits." Vila was studying images of humans. "They look so similar to each other compared to the diversity among our species. Yet they have many different cultures and languages," said Zixlorp. "Fascinating." As they continued researching, excitement built among them. Whatever made Earth a hellworld wasn't obvious from the information available. The humans in the images looked peaceful enough. They didn't have extra limbs or dangerous natural weapons. Their cities appeared ordered, and their technology, while less advanced than the galactic standard, seemed functional. 3 days, said Vila. In 3 days, we'll begin to solve this mystery and make history as the first exchange students to Earth, added Klaatu. None of them could have guessed what awaited them on the blue planet. The ship carrying the 4 alien students entered Earth's atmosphere with a gentle hum. Through the viewing port, they watched as clouds parted to reveal green mountains and a sprawling campus nestled in a valley. The International Space University in Colorado was their home for the next 6 months. The air looked so blue, said Vila, her Andromedan skin reflecting the view. It's the nitrogen and oxygen mixture, explained Neelix, checking the environmental sensors. Our suits will filter it to something our bodies can handle. As the ship landed on a circular pad, Zixlorp felt the first tug of Earth's gravity. It was like a heavy blanket pressing down on all 6 of his limbs. The gravity is intense, he said, struggling to stand upright. Activate your suit's support systems, advised Klaatu, adjusting his own tall frame to the pull. The humans lived with this pressure every day of their lives. The ship's door opened with a hiss. Standing on the landing pad was a group of humans. One stepped forward, a man with gray hair and a friendly smile. He wore a blue uniform with the Galactic Academy insignia alongside Earth's own symbol. Welcome to Earth. I am Professor Alan Martinez, your liaison during your stay. We are honored to host the first alien exchange students at our university. The aliens stepped carefully onto Earth's soil. Despite their environmental suits, they could feel the planet's pull. It was not just the gravity. There was something alive about this world, something primal that their sensors couldn't quite capture. Professor Martinez introduced 4 other humans. These students will be your guides. Samantha Wilson, engineering. A woman with short brown hair nodded. Jack Peterson, biology. A tall man with blonde hair smiled. Olivia Garcia, environmental science. A woman with dark curly hair waved enthusiastically. And Daniel Wright, sociology. A man with glasses and a kind expression gave a small bow. We have prepared rooms for you in our international dormitory, said Professor Martinez. They've been adjusted to provide some relief from Earth conditions. The aliens followed their hosts across the campus. Other human students stopped to stare. Some took pictures with their devices. The aliens had been told humans were still getting used to the idea of other intelligent life in the universe. Their dormitory rooms were small but comfortable. Special air filters had been installed, and the lighting adjusted to match their homeworlds. Most importantly, gravity reducers had been placed in each room, lowering the pull to something closer to what they were used to. You should rest, suggested Samantha Wilson. We'll have a proper tour tomorrow when you're adjusted. That night, as the aliens tried to sleep, an unusual sound began outside. It started as a low rumble, then grew into a crash that shook the building. Flashes of light pierced through the window coverings. Vila rushed to Zixlorp's room in panic. The planet is attacking us. Klaatu and Neelix joined them. All 4 huddled together as the noise grew louder. Water began hitting the windows with force. Their door chimed, and Daniel Wright entered, looking concerned but calm. Are you all okay? I thought the storm might frighten you. Storm? Asked Neelix, his round body trembling. Is the planet breaking apart? Daniel laughed softly. No, it's just a little spring shower. Water falls from the sky, sometimes with electricity. It happens all the time here. The aliens stared at him in disbelief. Water falls from your sky. With electricity. Klaatu's voice was barely audible over another crash of thunder. Yes, we call the electricity lightning, and the sound thunder. It's completely normal. Actually, we need it for our plants to grow. Zixlorp moved cautiously to the window and peered out. Streaks of brilliant light crossed the dark sky, followed by deep rumbles that he could feel in his body. Water poured down in sheets, bending the trees with its force. And humans just sleep through this? He asked. Daniel nodded. Most of us do. Some even find the sound relaxing. The 4 aliens looked at each other with new understanding. If this violence from the sky was what humans considered a little shower, what other dangers did this planet hold? What else did these seemingly fragile beings consider normal? Try to rest, said Daniel, heading for the door. Tomorrow we start classes, and you'll need your energy. After he left, none of the aliens spoke for a long time. They simply listened to the storm rage outside, each wondering what they had gotten themselves into. The morning after the storm, the alien students gathered in the university cafeteria. Their environmental suits had been modified to allow them to eat Earth food that had been specially prepared for their different digestive systems. They sat with their human guides, still shaken by the previous night's weather. I checked our weather records, said Zixlorp to Jack Peterson. The temperature dropped 12 degrees during that storm, then rose again this morning. Does your planet always change so quickly? Jack took a bite of his breakfast sandwich. 12 degrees? That's nothing. In Colorado, we can see 30-degree swings in a single day. The aliens stared at him in shock. On their worlds, such temperature changes would cause massive die-offs of plant and animal life. Their own bodies would struggle to adapt without technological help. How do you survive such extremes? Asked Klaatu. Olivia Garcia shrugged. Our bodies just adjust. We put on more clothes when it's cold, fewer when it's hot. It's no big deal. No big deal. The aliens were beginning to notice how often humans use this phrase for conditions that would be emergency situations on other worlds. After breakfast, they attended their first class, Earth Biology. The room was filled with human students who watched them with curious eyes. Professor Martinez began by explaining the basics of Earth's ecosystems. Earth has everything from burning deserts to frozen tundra, from oxygen-rich forests to high mountains where the air is thin. Life has adapted to all these conditions. Vila raised her hand. But how do humans adapt? You do not change your bodies like some species. We use technology for extreme environments, answered the professor, but our bodies are surprisingly adaptable. We can acclimate to high altitudes, build resistance to certain poisons, strengthen our muscles against gravity. During the lunch break, the alien students watched in horror as Samantha Wilson poured herself a dark liquid. What is that? Asked Neelix, his sensors detecting a strong chemical. Coffee, she said. Want to try some? Neelix scanned the drink. This contains a neurotoxin. Samantha laughed. Caffeine. Yes, it's a mild stimulant. Helps us stay alert. You willingly consume toxins. Klaatu was fascinated and disturbed. Lots of them, added Daniel Wright, joining them with a plate of food covered in red sauce. This hot sauce has capsaicin. Burns like crazy but tastes amazing. The aliens watched in disbelief as Daniel ate the burning substance with obvious pleasure. That afternoon, they accompanied their guides on a campus tour. Despite their suits' support systems, the constant pull of Earth's gravity left them exhausted after just 1 hour. Maybe we should head back, suggested Jack, noticing their fatigue. Or would you like to try the reduced gravity chambers? We built them specially for your visit. The aliens gratefully accepted. Inside the chambers, the weight lifted from their bodies as the gravity was adjusted to match their homeworlds. I did not realize how heavy I felt until now, sighed Vila. Humans live their entire lives under such pressure, said Zixlorp. It explains their dense muscle structure. Later that day, they attended a physical education class as observers. They watched human students run, jump, and lift weights. What amazed the aliens most was how the humans pushed through pain. Breathing hard, muscles shaking, sweat pouring from their bodies, only to finish with smiles. Why do they do this to themselves? Asked Neelix. They say it makes them stronger, replied Klaatu. They deliberately stress their bodies to improve them. That evening, the alien students gathered in Zixlorp's room to share notes. Did you notice the water they drink? Said Vila. It contains minerals that would be toxic on my world. And the air, added Neelix. The oxygen levels would cause cell damage to my species over time. Their bones are remarkable, said Zixlorp, reviewing his biology notes. If broken, they actually grow back stronger. On my world, A broken limb means replacement. I begin to understand why Earth might be classified as a Hellworld, said Klaatu quietly. Not because it is inherently terrible, but because it would kill most other species. Yet humans not only survive here, they thrive. The others nodded in agreement, but they all knew they had only scratched the surface of Earth's mysteries. 2 weeks into their stay on Earth, Professor Martinez gathered the alien students in the research lab. The room was filled with computers and strange machines the aliens had never seen before. "Today we start your main project," said the professor. "You will work with your human guides to study why Earth developed such unique biological and environmental conditions." He handed each alien student a tablet computer. These contain historical Earth data going back millions of years. Part of understanding our planet is understanding its past. The alien students paired off with their human guides. Zixlorp worked with Jack, Vila with Daniel, Klaatu with Samantha, and Neelix with Olivia. They spent hours looking through Earth's historical records. "This cannot be right," said Zixlorp, staring at his screen. "It says Earth had 5 major mass extinction events, and life still continued." Jack nodded. "That's right. Each time, over half of all species died out, but the survivors evolved to fill the empty spaces. And these climate shifts," added Vila, looking at her own data. "Your planet has gone from completely frozen to burning hot and back again." "Earth is always changing," explained Daniel. "Our continents move because of plate tectonics. Our climate shifts. Our magnetic poles even flip sometimes." The aliens looked at each other in disbelief. On their worlds, such changes happen very slowly, if at all. Their planets were stable, predictable, and humans evolved alongside creatures like these. Asked Klaatu, pointing to images of lions, bears, and wolves on his screen. "Yes," said Samantha. "We weren't always at the top of the food chain. For most of human history, we were both predator and prey." Neelix was studying a different kind of data. "Your microorganisms are extremely aggressive. They constantly try to invade your bodies." Olivia nodded. "That's why we have immune systems. It's a constant battle between our bodies and bacteria or viruses that want to use us as hosts." The alien students continued their research through the afternoon. They learned about earthquakes and volcanoes, hurricanes and tornadoes, floods and droughts. Earth seemed designed to kill its inhabitants, yet life always found a way to survive. Later that day, they took a break in the student lounge. The aliens noticed several humans lying on couches, completely still. "Are they dead?" whispered Neelix in alarm. Olivia laughed softly. "No, they're just napping. Humans need sleep to function properly." "You mean they shut down their brains?" "Every day." Klaatu was shocked. "For about 8 hours each night," said Samantha. "Plus short naps sometimes, like these students." "But how do they stay safe while unconscious?" asked Vila. The humans looked confused by the question. "We just find a safe place to sleep," said Jack. "Though for most of history, humans did have to worry about predators while sleeping. That's why we used to sleep in groups or build shelters." The alien students watched the sleeping humans with new fascination. On their worlds, most species remained aware at all times. The idea of becoming completely vulnerable for hours each day on a dangerous planet seemed suicidal. Back in the lab, Zixlorp discovered something interesting in the physical data about humans. "It says here humans can run for hours without stopping," he said to Jack. "Is this true?" "Some of us can, yes. We're persistent hunters by evolution. We can't run as fast as many animals, but we can run longer because of how we sweat and control our breathing." "Fascinating," said Zixlorp. "On my world, we conserve energy whenever possible. The idea of running until another creature collapses from exhaustion is disturbing." As the day ended, the 4 alien students met to share what they had learned. "I think I understand part of the Hellworld classification now," said Klaatu. "Earth's history is violent. Its climate is unstable. Its gravity is crushing. Its life forms are competitive. Yet humans evolved here, adapted to all these challenges. And they seem completely unaware of how unusual their adaptations are, added Vila. They think it's normal to live on a planet that's constantly trying to kill them. But we still don't know the full truth, said Zixlorb. There must be more to the story. What they didn't realize was that the full truth would soon reveal itself in a way none of them expected. 1 month into their Earth stay, the alien students were invited to join a special field trip. Professor Martinez explained they would visit the Pacific Ocean to study marine ecosystems. The aliens had seen pictures of Earth's oceans, but had never visited one in person. The research vessel leaves tomorrow morning, said Professor Martinez. Pack your environmental suits with the water-resistant upgrades. The next day, they traveled to the California coast. When they first saw the ocean, the aliens stopped in their tracks. The vast blue water stretched as far as they could see, waves crashing against the shore with thunderous force. It's enormous, whispered Vila. 70% of our planet is covered in water, said Olivia proudly. And humans can't breathe in it, asked Neelix. No, we need special equipment to stay underwater for long, explained Jack. But many of us swim in it for fun. The aliens exchanged looks of disbelief. The idea of voluntarily entering a substance that could kill you seemed very strange. Their research vessel was a white boat about 50 feet long. A captain, a woman named Linda Brown, welcomed them aboard. The humans helped the aliens with their safety gear as the boat pulled away from the dock. For the first hour, everything went well. The aliens collected water samples and observed seabirds. Despite the rocking motion making them dizzy, they were enjoying the experience. Then the weather changed suddenly. Dark clouds appeared on the horizon, moving quickly toward them. That storm wasn't in the forecast, said Captain Brown, frowning at her instruments. We need to head back. But the storm moved faster than expected. Soon, large waves slammed against the boat, making it rock violently. Rain poured down, and wind howled around them. Get below deck, shouted Jack over the noise. But before they could move, a massive wave hit the side of the boat. The vessel tipped sharply. Zixlorp lost his footing and slid across the wet deck. Before anyone could grab him, he went over the side and plunged into the dark water. Man overboard, yelled Captain Brown. Without hesitation, Jack kicked off his shoes and jumped into the churning ocean after Zixlorp. The other aliens watched in horror as both disappeared beneath the waves. Another large wave hit the boat, knocking everyone off balance. Water poured over the sides. Alarms blared as the captain fought to control the vessel. The boat is taking on water, shouted Samantha over the noise. We need to launch the life raft. Vila, Klaatu, and Neelix huddled together, certain they were going to die. On their worlds, natural disasters were rare and usually avoidable with proper technology. They had never experienced anything like this violent, unpredictable storm. Olivia and Daniel worked quickly to inflate the life raft while Samantha helped Captain Brown send a distress signal. Despite the chaos, the humans moved with purpose, their faces showing determination rather than panic. Suddenly, Jack appeared at the side of the boat, one arm holding Zixlorp's limp form. Daniel and Olivia pulled them both aboard. Jack was bleeding from a cut on his forehead, and his breathing was ragged. The suit protected him from drowning, gasped Jack. But the pressure might have damaged his systems. Vila rushed to Zixlorp's side. His environmental suit had indeed prevented water from entering his lungs, but the pressure of the deep water had compromised some of its functions. He was alive but unconscious. Jack, you're hurt, said Olivia, trying to examine his wound. I'm fine, he insisted, pushing her hand away. Help secure the life raft. The boat was now listing badly to one side. Captain Brown gave the order to abandon ship. One by one, they climbed into the life raft as the research vessel slowly sank beneath the waves. For 3 hours, they drifted in the storm. The humans took turns paddling to keep the raft from capsizing. Jack, despite his injury, worked alongside the others without complaint. The alien students watched in amazement. These humans were not just surviving in these deadly conditions, they were actively fighting against them. And strangest of all, when the Coast Guard finally rescued them, the humans called the whole experience a close call and minor mishap. As they were taken to shore, the aliens began to understand something profound about humans. What other species would consider life-threatening danger, humans viewed as just another challenge to overcome. 2 weeks after the ocean incident, Zixlorp had fully recovered. The university gave the alien students some time off from their research to rest and process what had happened. Their human guide suggested they observe some Earth recreational activities to take their minds off the frightening experience. "There's a big event this weekend you might find interesting," said Samantha one morning at breakfast. "It's a mixed martial arts tournament being held at the campus gym." "What is mixed martial arts?" asked Klaatu. "It's a fighting sport," explained Daniel. "People compete against each other using different fighting styles." The aliens looked confused. "You mean humans fight each other for fun?" asked Vila. "Yes, but there are rules to keep it safe," said Jack, who had recovered from his own injuries. The cut on his forehead had almost healed, leaving only a small red mark. That Saturday, the aliens sat in the campus gym watching humans enter a cage-like structure called an octagon. The first match began with 2 humans circling each other before exchanging punches and kicks. "They're hurting each other on purpose," whispered Neelix, his round body shrinking back in his seat. "It's controlled," said Olivia. "The referee makes sure no one gets seriously injured." But to the aliens, what the humans called control still looked incredibly violent. They watched in horror as one fighter was knocked to the ground, and the other jumped on top of him, striking him repeatedly until the referee stopped the match. "How can he survive such damage?" asked Zixlorp. "Humans are tough," said Jack. "We can take a lot of punishment. Our bodies heal." The tournament continued with match after match. The aliens noticed how the defeated fighters would often stand up, shake hands with their opponents, and walk away, bruised but functional. "On our worlds, such physical trauma would require immediate medical attention," said Klaatu. "Many of our species would not survive what these humans are willingly doing to each other." Then came a surprise, when the announcer called the next fighter's name, Samantha Wilson. Their human guide stood up. "You're participating?" asked Vila in shock. Samantha grinned. "Did I forget to mention that? I've been training for years." The aliens watched nervously as Samantha entered the octagon. Her opponent was slightly taller and more muscular. When the match began, both women moved with incredible speed. They exchanged strikes, grappled, and threw each other to the mat. Samantha took several hard hits that made the aliens wince. At one point, blood trickled from her nose, but she kept fighting. In the final round, she locked her opponent's arm in a complex hold until the woman tapped the mat in surrender. After the match, Samantha rejoined them, holding an ice pack to her face. "Are you damaged?" asked Neelix with concern. Samantha laughed. "Just a few bruises. Nothing serious." "But you're bleeding," said Vila. "It's just a nosebleed. It'll stop soon." The aliens could not understand how she could be so casual about her injuries. On their worlds, blood loss of any kind was considered an emergency. Later that evening, as they discussed what they had seen, Zixlorp shared a new theory with the others. "I think I understand something about humans now," he said. "Their entertainment simulates survival situations. The fighting, the sports, it's all practice for the real dangers of their world." "That makes sense," agreed Klaatu. "Many of the activities humans call fun would be life-threatening on our worlds." "Like swimming in the ocean," added Neelix with a shudder, remembering the boat accident. "Or climbing mountains," said Vila. "Remember how they told us some humans climbed that dangerous peak called Everest just because it's there?" They continued talking late into the night. The more they learned about humans, the more mysterious these creatures became to them. Humans seemed to seek out the very dangers that other species evolved to avoid. "There's something we're still missing," said Zixlorp finally. "Why would an intelligent species deliberately make life harder for themselves? Why seek out pain and danger when they could live in safety and comfort?" None of them had an answer, but they would soon learn the truth about humans and their strange, dangerous world. And that truth would change their understanding of the universe forever. 5 months into their stay on Earth, the alien students had adjusted somewhat to the planet's conditions. Their environmental suits had been upgraded several times, and they could now tolerate short exposures to Earth's raw atmosphere. They had even grown accustomed to the heavier gravity, though they still tired more quickly than the humans. One peaceful morning, while they sat in the university cafeteria with their human guides, the building suddenly began to shake. Cups rattled on tables. Lights swung from the ceiling. A few ceiling tiles fell to the floor. For the humans, the reaction was immediate but calm. They quickly moved under tables, pulling the aliens with them. "Earth is breaking apart," cried Neelix, his round body trembling with fear. "It's just an earthquake," said Jack from under the table. "A small one." The shaking continued for about 40 seconds, then stopped. The aliens were frozen in place, sure that worse was coming. But all around them, humans were already standing up, checking for damage, and helping those who had fallen. Professor Martinez's voice came over the university's speaker system. "Attention everyone. That was a 5.3 magnitude earthquake. Please calmly exit all buildings while we check for structural damage. This is standard procedure." Outside, hundreds of students gathered on the large grassy area at the center of campus. The aliens were shocked to see that many were laughing or taking pictures with their phones. Some acted like nothing unusual had happened at all. "How can they be so calm?" whispered Vila to her fellow aliens. "Their planet just tried to destroy them." "I don't understand humans at all," said Klaatu. "They treat deadly danger as a minor inconvenience." As they watched, university staff quickly organized into teams. Some checked buildings, others set up water stations, and medical personnel helped a few people with minor injuries. The whole system worked with remarkable efficiency. In less than an hour, an all-clear was given, and students began returning to undamaged buildings. Classes resumed as if nothing had happened. That evening, the alien students received a surprise message. Dean Quara, their professor from the Galactic Academy, requested a video conference with them. When her purple face appeared on the screen, they felt a wave of homesickness. "My students," said the dean, her star-filled eyes twinkling, "I understand you experienced an earthquake today." "Yes, Dean," said Zixlorp. "It was terrifying, but the humans barely reacted." The dean nodded. "I believe you are ready now. It is time I explained why Earth is classified as a Class 10 Hellworld." The 4 aliens leaned closer to the screen. "Is it because of the extreme gravity?" asked Neelix. "The unstable tectonics," suggested Klaatu. "The deadly weather patterns," added Vila. Dean Quara smiled. "Those are all factors, yes. But the true reason is much simpler and much more profound." She paused. "Earth is classified as a hellworld not just because of its conditions, but because of what those conditions created, humans." The aliens looked at each other in confusion. "I don't understand," said Zixlorp. "Most intelligent species in our galaxy evolved on worlds with stable, favorable conditions," explained the dean. "This produced beings that are specialized and sensitive to environmental changes. But humans evolved on a planet that actively tried to kill them at every turn." The dean's image was replaced by a series of images. Humans hunting mammoths, surviving ice ages, building shelters against storms, fighting diseases, and creating increasingly complex tools. Earth's harsh conditions created a species unlike any other we have encountered, continued the dean as her face reappeared. Humans are not specialized. They are adaptable. They don't just survive adversity. They thrive on it. They don't avoid danger. They overcome it, even seek it out. "But why is that cause for a Hellworld classification?" asked Klaatu. Because, said Dean Quara, her voice growing serious, a species that evolved to conquer a death planet is potentially the most dangerous species in the galaxy. The Hellworld classification is not just a warning about Earth's conditions, it's a recognition of humanity's incredible durability and potential. The aliens sat in stunned silence as the truth finally dawned on them. Humans weren't victims of their harsh world. They were its ultimate product. And now these Death World survivors were venturing out into the stars. The final week of the exchange program arrived quickly. The alien students spent their remaining days putting together their research findings and preparing for their return home. Their understanding of Earth and humans had changed completely since their arrival 6 months ago. On their last evening, they gathered in the university's main hall for their final presentation. The room was filled with human students and professors, as well as a holographic projection of Dean Quara and several other alien academics who had joined remotely to hear their conclusions. Zixlort stepped forward first, his 6 limbs moving with newfound confidence under Earth's gravity. When we first arrived on Earth, we were confused by its classification as a hellworld, he began. We now understand it is not just the planet that earned this title, but the remarkable species it produced. Vila continued, her translucent skin glowing softly. Humans evolved on a planet with crushing gravity, extreme weather, shifting tectonics, aggressive microorganisms, and countless other dangers. Where most species would fail, humans adapted and thrived. Their bodies reflect this harsh evolution, added Neelix. They can repair broken bones, fight off diseases, survive in vastly different temperatures and environments, and even deliberately damage their bodies through exercise to make them stronger. Klaatu stepped forward and activated a display showing human achievements throughout history. Most impressive is their psychology. Humans do not just accept challenges, they seek them out. They climb mountains because they are there. They explore oceans that could kill them. They even fight each other for sport. The human audience listened with interest, many smiling at descriptions of behaviors they considered completely normal. Based on our research, concluded Zixlorp, we propose a new classification for Earth, not as a hellworld, which suggests only danger, but as a crucible world, a planet that forged humanity through adversity into something remarkable. The presentation was met with applause from both humans and alien observers. Professor Martinez stepped forward with small medals for each alien student. You have shown exceptional courage by coming to our world, he said. Few non-humans have spent so much time on Earth. You have not only survived, but have helped us understand ourselves better. Later that night, at a farewell party in their honor, the alien students spoke with their human guides one last time. What will you do when you return home? Asked Olivia. I will study human medical techniques, said Zixlorp. Your ability to heal from injuries could revolutionize medicine across the galaxy. I plan to create new environmental technologies based on human adaptability principles, said Vila. I will focus on human art and expression, said Klaatu. The way you channel your survival drive into creativity is fascinating, and I will advocate for closer cooperation with humans, added Neelix. Your problem-solving abilities are unlike anything in our experience. As the party wound down, Dean Quara's hologram appeared beside Professor Martinez. I have news, said the Dean. The Galactic Academy has approved a permanent exchange program with Earth. Next semester, new alien students will arrive to continue what you started. And some of our students will visit your worlds, added Professor Martinez, though they'll need special suits to survive in your comfortable environments. Everyone laughed at the irony. The next morning, as they prepared to board their ship home, the alien students looked back at the blue and green planet that had changed them forever. Earth was beautiful, dangerous, and compelling, just like the humans it had produced. They will change the galaxy, said Klaatu softly. Yes, agreed Zixlorp, and I believe it will be for the better. As their ship lifted off, they saw a new group of alien visitors arriving at the landing pad. The newcomers looked nervous, clutching their environmental suits and staring at the sky with uncertainty. In the distance, Dark clouds were gathering, promising another spring thunderstorm. "Should we warn them?" asked Neelix with a smile. "No," said Vila, watching as their human guides went to greet the new arrivals. "Some things must be experienced to be understood." The ship broke through Earth's atmosphere, leaving the beautiful blue Hellworld behind. But the lessons they had learned there, about adaptation, resilience, and the remarkable species called humans, would remain with them forever.